Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt lonelier than when you were single? Like you're physically with someone, yet emotionally you're miles apart, longing for a deeper connection. If so, you're not alone. Studies show that 1 in 4 people in long-term relationships report feeling lonely, even when they're with someone that they claim to love. Relationships aren't always the happily ever after that we're promised, but solitude for most people doesn't seem to provide a palatable alternative. So what's worse, choosing solitude or staying stuck in something that drains you? And why are we so afraid of being alone in the first place? In this video, we'll explore why being alone might actually be the best decision to make, and how it can lead to freedom, fulfillment, and self-discovery. Along the way, we'll uncover the truths about societal pressures that make us chase relationships, the science behind why solitude can be empowering, and some surprising ways being alone can teach us what we truly want in life. There's this feeling that you will most likely experience at least once in your life. It's the feeling of being at a party completely surrounded by people, smiling, chatting, yet feeling completely invisible. Maybe you try to talk about a new interest, but you're met with that look. You know the one, a subtle disinterested glance of disdain. One that might make you feel small, unwanted, or out of place. Now imagine that same feeling in your own home, with a person who's supposed to know you better than anyone. It's a quiet kind of loneliness, the kind that sneaks up on you over time. At first, it's the little things, fewer conversations, less laughter. Now, the silence feels louder than words. You're together, sure, but it was never the kind of together that you dreamed of. The truth is, being in the wrong relationship can feel lonelier than being single. There's the emotional drain of constantly questioning every move you make. Am I at fault? What did I do wrong? Why can't I make this work? Soon enough, you'll be dealing with the psychological weight of walking on eggshells to keep the peace. For some, it's even worse, taking the form of manipulation, gaslighting, or emotional neglect that chip away at your sense of self. And before you know it, any semblance of individuality disappears. You become so self-critical that it consumes everything else in your life. Your YouTube homepage starts to slowly turn from your hobbies to relationship hacks and secrets to keep your partner happy. Your relationship stops being a nourishment to your life and starts being more like a chore. Being in the wrong relationship is a lot like trying to keep a sinking ship afloat. You throw out your most valuable possessions, the things that make you, you. The more you sacrifice, the more exhausted you feel. Worst of all, the ship is indifferent, and it just keeps sinking. So why do we stay? If it's such a bad time, how come so many people remain in unfulfilling relationships? You see, a lot of it comes down to the illusion of togetherness. We're conditioned to believe that romantic relationships are supposed to complete us. Movies, social media, and family advice paint this picture of romantic bliss, where love is enough to fix anything. As you yourself may have already discovered, that's rarely the case. In the real world, mismatched expectations in relationships can leave us feeling more isolated. You're craving connection, except your partner just won't meet you halfway. And when that gap keeps growing, it's hard to not feel like there's something wrong with you. Since it's all happening simultaneously with life's natural indifference, you just kind of live with it. Slowly, something inside you starts to crumble, fading away into the abyss of your mind. And then there's the cultural baggage for some people. In many communities, leaving a relationship, no matter how bad, can feel like an unforgivable failure. You hear things like, marriage is sacred, or you need to try harder. And for most, it goes beyond just family and friends applying the pressure. Religion and tradition also play a huge role in reinforcing the idea that staying, despite the unhappiness, is somehow noble. Let's be honest, staying in the wrong relationship doesn't make you stronger. Honestly, it doesn't make you anything. All it does is take, and take some more. You shrink yourself to fit into a mold that doesn't suit you, just to keep the peace or meet expectations. In the process, you lose touch with who you are and what you deserve. So why do we do this to ourselves? Maybe it's time to stop asking, what if I'm alone? And start asking, What if I'm free? We live in a world that fears solitude. Being alone without the expectation of companionship is often confused with loneliness. Many people can't wrap their heads around the idea of a conscious decision to remain single. It's why people always ask, if you're so great, then how come you're still single? As if being in a relationship is what validates you as being a good human being. But being alone and loneliness are not the same thing. Solitude can be a conscious decision, a space carved out for yourself, a pocket dimension where you can grow endlessly. Let's start by highlighting the distinction. Loneliness is an aching feeling, a longing for connection, while solitude is the fulfillment of your own company. Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche and Søren Kierkegaard recognize this. Nietzsche once wrote, "In solitude, the lonely man is eaten by himself. Among crowds, by the many. Choose which you prefer." Nietzsche believed that solitude was essentially for self-overcoming, the ability to transcend your current limitations to achieve something greater. While Kierkegaard saw solitude as a path to authenticity, one where you can confront yourself without the noise of the outside world. Why does a true self matter though? Not everyone needs a higher purpose or stronger meaning. What if you just want to stop hurting? Well, all the more reason to consider solitude. You see, when you're alone, you start to gain a freedom you never really got to embrace. You're able to ask yourself the questions that often get drowned out in the noise of everyday life. What do I truly want? What matters most to me? These questions aren't easy, but they are necessary, especially if you're seeking a way out of the hurt that's constantly gnawing on your mind. Sometimes even a session of authentic self-reflection can keep you away from a path that would otherwise set you back decades. Throughout history, some of the most profound thinkers and creators have turned to solitude as a source of inspiration. Artist Frida Kahlo said, "I paint self-portraits because I am so often alone, because I am the person I know best." Her solitude wasn't a limitation. It was the canvas on which she painted her most intimate and powerful works. Similarly, the most enlightened spiritualists have long used solitude as a path for inner peace and enlightenment. In many traditions, solitude is seen as a way to connect with something greater than oneself. Buddhist monks, for example, often retreat into solitude to meditate and cultivate mindfulness, finding clarity in the stillness. There's a common belief that loneliness means being forgotten, that if you're not seen, heard, or celebrated by the masses, you've somehow failed. People will chase this visibility, losing themselves in the noise of cultural trends or unfulfilling relationships, always trying to keep up with the Joneses. Well, here's a question worth pondering. Is it worth it to be the tree that falls loudly, noticed by everyone, or the tree that stands quietly, its fruit nourishing the forest around it? The truth is, your life doesn't need to be a spectacle to have meaning. You don't need to hit societal expectations like marriage to matter. What truly lasts is the value that you create, the connections you nurture, and the ways you inspire those around you, no matter how quiet. That's the essence of living authentically, not for the applause, but for the impact. So embrace your crooked branches. They are what make you unique. Acknowledge your hollow spots, not as flaws, but as spaces for refuge for yourself and for others. And in doing so, you'll find your place in this world, not as a fleeting echo, but as a steady, enduring presence. What if being alone wasn't a burden? What if it was a gateway to unparalleled freedom? Solitude comes with its own kind of liberation, offering you autonomy, independence, and the luxury of time to live life entirely on your own terms. Let's start with autonomy. When you're alone, you're the sole navigator of your life. As an adult, there's no need to compromise when deciding on your career moves, travel plans, or lifestyle changes. Want to quit your job and backpack through South Africa? Go for it. Thinking of taking that night class in photography? Nothing is stopping you. When there's no one else's opinion to weigh against yours, no partner's desires to consider, Your choices become pure reflections of your true self.